Hello and welcome to episode 316 of the 77 Club. Sorry for any technical issues if you were on YouTube. Obviously, all is well in audio podcast land. But Harry, start with the socials.
Hello.
Pete, it's your granddad.
Can you hear me? No, yeah, we're on everything on social media everywhere. The Wolf 77 Club. Please subscribe quickly because this stream might go down as well, just like a minute ago. Yeah, get it done quick.
Jack's in the private chat saying, "Are we live?"
I mean, mine says it's still scheduled, so I don't know what's going on here.
Oh,
It's
my
an absolute shambles. Are we definitely live?
We are live. Yes. Yeah.
We are
Okay,
indeed.
good,
and as you can
good.
hear, Jack Williams is here.
Hello. Yeah.
Harry, right, let's start with business as usual, which is another loss in the Premier League. No manager bounce for Wolves. It is a run of 12 winless games for Wolves. What were your thoughts on Rob Edwards' first start in 11 as permanent manager?
Quite surprised. I was surprised that he started Tolu and Strand Larsen. I was surprised that he started Muller-Wolf. I wasn't too surprised Agbadu would be back in because I did think he'd do that. And I was a bit surprised that because he had the two big men up there, that Manetzi was in there as well. But he had to change it, didn't he? He had to do something different to what's been going on. So I was surprised, but I was kind of like, go on then, let's see what they can do. And then the game started, and I was like, oh my God. If this is what he thinks is his best team, it's going to be a long old season because Manetzi put on a performance of just how not to play football at times, didn't he? He was controlling the ball like Jack at that 7-a-side tournament at times. So, yeah. I don't know. It's worrying. The lack of quality is absolutely frightening. I was just sat there watching it, and I think I've said on my own video, I just couldn't believe how much Muller-Wolf and Chachua just didn't feel like they ever wanted to receive the ball. They'd like make pretend runs. You know when someone's pretending to do stuff, but really they're like, please don't pass to me. I don't want to make a mistake. Zero confidence. And if it weren't for Andre and João Gomez pretty much doing everything themselves for most of the game, we probably wouldn't have created anything at all. But yeah, feel sorry for Rob because he got a tough job on his hands, but fair play for trying something new with the two big men up there.
I'll just go through that team. Johnson in goal, as Harry said, Chachua, Agbadu, Krejci, Totti Gomez, Muller-Wolfer, João Gomez, Andre Manetzi, Strand Larsen, Arakadare. Jack, it was pretty abject. I mean, Harry's talked about Manetzi's contribution to the game, and it seemed that every time he'd gotten himself into a good position, done all the hard work, he just did a backwards pass or just gave it away.
Yeah, I think you have to just laugh at in these situations. It's just so bad in some viewing, isn't it? All you can do in these situations is just have a little laugh about it. But the one that really sticks out for me, and this is kind of says a lot about Manetzi just as a player, is that he won the ball back with some good work in the Palace penalty area.
Yeah.
And his first instinct then after winning the ball back, when he's got a clear sighted goal, is, oh, I better look up and look to try and pass it backwards when he's 8 yards from the bloody goal. And that's just such a lack of confidence, a lack of killer instincts. It's just overly frustrating that should even go through a player's mind, really, in the Premier League, because they should be thinking, hang on, I've won one here. I need to not even end up working the keeper from that situation. For me, it's just a shambles. And team selection wise from the start, I was actually quite pleased. I've been saying for a long time, I think that I'd like to see the two big guys play together up top. I know it didn't go obviously as well as I was kind of hoping, but going back to the thing again, I honestly think that the real issue is the creativity in between the strikers and the sitting midfielders and the down the wings. That's why we're not creating enough chances for people to actually end up converting. And when these players who are supposed to be the chance creators can't even take on a chance when they win the ball back in the box, they think, I need to pass it backwards instead. There's just something really, really wrong going on. And it is frustrating because obviously looking at that game, I think on the whole, it was a bit better. I think it was a bit better, particularly at the start of the second half when the crowd started getting going. We started getting going a bit and actually thought, hang on, we're going to do something here. It looks like they're up for it. And then out of nowhere, we just defend a corner really, really badly. And before we know it, we're 1-0 down. And I was a bit frustrated by that because if you think back to the set piece, the free kick we had in the first half, which the ball spills to Krejci and he just skies it over the bar. Granted, he saw it late, but if it fell to him, and that's a great chance to score. With that Palace corner, granted we go to sleep and we don't know what they're going to do, but that ball could have ended up anywhere, and it fell straight to the feet of the Palace player who is calm and composed, and he finishes it. But it's just those little bits of luck, and I think like those two scenarios, really, they should have probably been a goal each, but we've missed our chance, and they've converted theirs, and then from that point it just kills us. And then the second goal, my God, man, Hwang, what is he doing? What is he doing to give the ball away there? It's just an absolute shambles. And again, it goes back to my piece I was just saying, that I think the players in between the midfield and the strike force, the people who are supposed to be creating stuff, just aren't anywhere near up to it. And that's the real worry for me, is I don't think we've got enough creativity in those spaces that used to be filled by Aït-Nouri, used to be filled by Cunha. We've not upgraded them in any way. I know they thought John Arias would be the answer, but he's not. And there's no plan B for him not coming in and ripping it up like we all thought he would. So it's just depressing, really. And Rob Edwards, impossible job on his hands. I think so far he's handled himself well. He's said everything right. But what can you do about these sorts of things where your team is scared to shoot and you just freely give away the ball to goal scoring opportunities, which is the same thing that's been happening all season? It's
a great shout on Hwang, Jack, giving the ball away on. I'll bring Harry. He's come back in now. Harry, what did you think of? I want to take it back to the free kick that Jack mentioned there, where Krejci couldn't do what Munoz could for Palace, which was score the rebound. But did you think that Mark Gahey should have had a second yellow card? Because I think any other time, and maybe if he hadn't been booked, he was booked quite early on in the 4th minute, so maybe that had a say in Anthony Taylor's decision not to give him a second yellow. But what were your thoughts on it? Because we've seen them given before, and it does change the dynamic of a game.
Completely forgot about it, and at the time I didn't realise, because I didn't put 2 and 2 together that it had already been booked, because I was in the ground obviously watching it. But I did hear Rob Edwards mention it after, but it's just clutching at straws, isn't it? I mean, we just wasn't good enough on the day. We got a stroke of luck twice. Well, once, definitely. I think Muller-Wolf nearly giving away a penalty. I thought it was a penalty at the time, I must admit. So we got away with that one. It's a kind of unfortunate. The first one, I was hoping it was going to get ruled out, their first goal, but it was quite unfortunate, actually, in that. Like the way it bounced to him. But the second one, as Jack mentioned, was all Hwang's fault. But now with the double yellows, I didn't. It's never really been mentioned, has it? I didn't really care, to be honest. I didn't notice at the time, and it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game, in my opinion.
And Jack, I know you've mentioned it already, but how frustrating is Hwang? Because I think we always think back to the days of Adama Traore and us playing on the break with some impetus, and just to give a ball away like that is just unforgivable.
Yeah, and it's a pattern of behaviour. I think we've said before that in the good old days, the Nuno era, players like Jota, players like Traore, they get the ball in a promising position and just run with it. But Hwang against Chelsea as well, I think I said this after the Chelsea game, he received the ball in space, turned in the middle of the pitch with nobody in front of him, and decided to run left rather than run straight. And that says a lot, I think. That just says a lot about the player, where they are, the confidence. Because if that was Jota in that same situation, he'd have just ran straight at the goal. And that'd have been it, put them under pressure and created something. Whereas we're just so scared in just everything that we do that it's just becoming overly frustrating. And Hwang, for me, and I think for most people, really, he was great when he first came in. He had another half decent spell where he started scoring again. But apart from that, he just seems a different player. I know he's quite streaky, but there's just nothing there to suggest to me that he's even like a Premier League footballer anymore. And the reason I think we should have bitten Marseille's hand off for 20 odd million euros or whatever they were willing to pay for it. But I think the reason he's still here is that we're paying him too much money. His wages are too high, because Harry shared something in the group in the week that was our supposed wage structure. And he's one of the highest paid players really, for a player who doesn't offer anything, just can't beat a man anymore, can't score. And, just shouldn't even really be starting if we're doing well, and hasn't been a starting player probably since he first joined the club, when he actually worked and managed to get his contract. So it again just goes back to, I just don't think we have enough quality this time to actually even compete. Now it's looking, because the days of saying, maybe we can get out of it with a new manager and some investment, I think they're long gone. We've got 2 points. It's pathetic. It's genuinely embarrassing. I do think we're better than 2 points, but when the players are low on confidence and they've got to just, every week you've got to try and get something on the board, we just the chance to even compete a little bit better and get, be better off than 2 points, in my opinion. It's just long gone, and the longer it goes on, it's just going to get less pretty and less pretty. And I know it's only a month and a bit of January, but it's too late now. It's too late now, in my opinion.
I tend to agree with that. And obviously, the only team in the top 7 divisions, or the 7 divisions of English football, that haven't got a win yet, which is incredible. I just want to share, though, the stats that Harry put in the group the other day from salaryleaks.com. At the top of the table is João Gomez, 100 grand a week, 5.2 million a year. Strand Larson, 90 grand a week. Totti Gomez, 75. Agbadou, 75. Hwang, 75. Manetzi, 70. Bellegarde, 60. I know. Andre, 60. Sarr, 60. Tolu, 60. Chachua, 60. John Arias, 60. I mean, Harry, how many of those players are worth the money?
I'm quite surprised João Gomez is highest paid. I thought Strand Larson would be after his new contract in the summer. I don't mind João Gomez getting that. Although he hasn't been the best this season, he's still probably one of our better performers overall, which ain't hard at the moment, I know. The Manetzi one's funny. And I can't believe Andre's on less than Manetzi, if those are true. Andre's on 60 years. So,
No, we'll do some
it's, I don't know. I mean, none of them deserve that money, do they, this season? They've been really poor. John Arias as well. You mentioned his chance, Jack. That sitter he missed. Bloody hell.
Well,
he should have got us back into it, shouldn't it?
It's more like that those players have just been calling out again for those positions just behind the strikers. It's like Hwang and Arias just seem to be getting in the way more than anything.
Yeah,
like it's like that one with Arias. If he'd just not done anything, Strand Larson would have put it in, and at least then he gives us something to try and get back into the game. I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think he'd have done better than bloody Arias did.
Yeah,
but you know, it is just comical at these times, really, and it's just difficult because I just don't see where the creativity is going to come from for us to be able to even get a goal in the game. You know, we're relying on a nice deflection or a bit of luck, and we're getting none of those at the moment. So what are we going to do?
That's the thing when you mentioned earlier about when you got 2 big men up there, how are you having Manetzi as the man who's got to link it up? The bloke who just is not creative at all. Like, you got 2 defensive midfielders in João Gomez and Andre. Why is Manetzi the one that's got to link up the play? It's not going to work, is it? And like I mentioned, our wing backs were poor as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, when you've got 2, 6'6" strikers in the box, and I said this at the times when they've been coming on and playing a little bit together, we don't put balls in. Like,
No.
What's the point? Like, if we're going to play with 2 massive strikers, your wing backs then become integral to how you're going to perform, because you should just be peppering the box constantly, and we just don't do that. And I agree, Chachua was poor. Muller-Wolf, I felt a little bit frustrated for, because I think there were a few occasions where he was screaming for it, and then we just didn't have the quality to either give him the pass or just didn't make that decision. I think overall he was okay, but still, it's just there's no creativity.
That's another thing, though. I think I mentioned to you lot in the group. Andre and João Gomez, even the centre halves at times, they would look up at Chachua and Muller-Wolf, and they almost didn't have the confidence to pass to them because they're not confident of their ability to do anything. I think that's another problem when people don't trust their own teammates because they don't think they're good enough. And another thing that absolutely baffled me, I personally thought Tolu was poor. He's had a lot of praise off Wolves fans, but I think our expectations of players are so low at the moment. People said Tolu did all right. I didn't think he did. But then it come out after the game that he's still not fit, apparently. How is he still not fully fit? We're nearly in December and the bloke's not fully fit. He's been going on international duty every time. I do not get that. How can a professional footballer not be fit at this point in the season? I don't get it.
Well, it's bollocks, isn't it? I mean, you can't be going on international duty, as you say, if you're unfit, because you just wouldn't release a player.
And like, the summer break these times, it's like, it's not particularly very long, is it? It's 2 months tops, or about 6 weeks really, until you're probably back in training. So what's he been doing from banging him in Belgium towards the end of last season in those 6 weeks? Just been on a bender, like, or 6 week bender. Like, does it look like us after Glastonbury? They're trying to play football. Like, I don't get it. It's bloody nearly December now. Like, come on, you're a professional footballer and you're training pretty much every day. How can you not have improved your fitness?
Max says, lucky if we finish on 13 points, and it's shocking. I'd probably take that right now. Let's have a look at Paul, who says, Manetzi is a pound chop Dave Edwards. I think that's harsh on Dave Edwards, to be fair. Neil says, Harry, when will the protests start? I mean, when do you think the protests will start? Because there's murmurs at the moment. The flags are starting to appear.
Yeah, there was discussions about a protest at Man United, but there's no point getting into it all. But the 1877 Trust basically just, I don't want to get into it because I'll probably upset people, but I've got no confidence in the trust, the official Wolves supporters trust, that the club are the only ones, they'll only directly link with them because they have to. It's a Premier League rule, I think. But yeah, I'm sure more will come out about that. Man United was the plan, but that boat's probably past now. And yeah, the Taiwan flags are coming out now, aren't they? There's one in the South Bank before the game against Palace. But they're politically not allowed, are they? You're not allowed to have political flags, which you probably end up getting banned. So I don't know when they'll do it.
What do you reckon, Jack? Do you think protests have a place in modern football?
Yeah, of course. Do I think it will make a difference? No. So I'm kind of the opinion of just, what's the point, really? I think Fosun, Jeff, whoever, they know exactly how we feel, and making a scene, what difference is it really going to make? We're still going to be in the same position. We're still going to be on 2 points. We're still going to be bottom of the league. So to be honest, I can't really get motivated to even go and do that, really. It's depressing enough watching the football. I don't want to then walk up and down in the cold outside for a bit, more than have to. So
would you do a pub protest just from the comfort?
I think that's the best thing to do. It's just stay in the pub. Don't bother going. Just stay in the pub. that's the best sort of protest, I think.
That'll work for Man United as well. Harry, where do we go from here, do you reckon?
Championship.
Excellent. Let's
Can I just say a positive?
Yeah, cool.
Sorry, I've been in and out. Agbadou actually had an all right game, I thought. Did Jack mention that? I actually thought, when I seen him on the team sheet, I did think to myself, oh no, don't have one of your howlers. Probably one of our better defenders on the day. So that's a positive, although it's too late and we are going down to the Championship. Like I said, I think we had to win Forest. Forest coming up, Villa coming up, and I think we had to beat Palace. I think we had to win 3 in a row to have any chance. I still don't. Yeah, it's done now. It was done anyway, but it's done after losing the weekend.
That's it. That was the final nail in the coffin for you, was it? Palace moving up to 4th place, by the way. So, it's so tight, the rest of the league is actually probably quite exciting. I haven't taken much of an interest in it for obvious reasons, but we do seem to be playing teams who are in a purple patch of form, Jack, it seems.
Yeah, but against the teams that we should have performed in, we've bottled it. So we can't really moan about the fixtures now, and maybe everyone just comes into form when they play us because we're that bad. It's just an easy one to roll over and get our bellies tickled. But, we can't moan about the fixtures because we moaned about them the last few seasons because they were hard at the start. This time they weren't as hard at the start, in my opinion, and we've done nothing. So that's on us. That's our preparation. That's our recruitment. It's just depressing, really. If you'd have told me this time last season that we'd be like worse than Southampton were last year, I'd have said, no, it can't possibly be that bad. Even if we do lose Cunha, ain't Nori, Semedo. But it honestly is. It's getting to the point now where it's genuinely embarrassing. Like it is. When people were even saying like a month ago about, will we even get to Derby's points? I'm like, come on, of course we will. Now I'm thinking, But the positive from the whole thing is I do think it was a bit better under Edwards. Yeah. I do think it was a bit better. So I think we'll grind out a result here and there.
It's a bit like you've trodden in a big pile of dog shit and then the next day you only tread in a little pile of dog shit. So on the face of it, it's slightly better because there's less dog shit on your shoe. But there
talking of dog shit, we weren't even going to bring this up, I don't think. What are your two's opinion, because I've already spoke about this, of the Esports Wolves top having Samwell College West Bromwich on it? Like, what do you two think of that? People are saying, don't worry about it, but I think that's pretty bad. It's been since 2023. I didn't know that either. I thought it just happened. But not only is Jeff Shee, obviously, Public Enemy #1, his beloved Esports team have got West Bromwich on their top next to the Wolves badge.
On the face of it, I think it's probably nothing. The reason it's getting traction is just because all we hear about is esports. And that the problem there is the fact that we think that Fosun has so heavily invested more in the bloody esports, and some of the tweets they put out just don't help themselves today because, you've got these bloody 5 gamers wearing Wolves tops looking like they've never been outside before. And it's like, don't worry, lads. The Fortnite team's doing all right. Like, and no one actually gives shit today. So it's just crazy.
The esports team were playing in front of 60,000 people the other week, I think, weren't they? So they've actually got some experience of playing in front of a big crowd compared to everybody else, it seems. There you go. Yeah,
I, mean,
I don't know. I don't know.
A live crowd or a crowd sat
Yeah.
in their bedrooms.
Yeah.
Just sat around in a big circle watching a couple of lads on a PlayStation.
Maybe that's it. Maybe they're right. Maybe in 20
Yeah.
years there won't be a Premier League anymore. It'll just be who's best on FIFA.
Well, apparently in
not
10
FIFA
years,
anymore.
esports worldwide is going to generate more money than the Premier League in the next 10 years. That's the stats going around.
Probably.
So maybe Jeff Shee's a genius, but he cares more about that than the actual football. That's the problem. He wants to run off doing his little Fortnite games, and he's just letting us rot and go down to League One, probably.
But why do you need to buy a football club in Wolverhampton to do that? Like, sure, you could just
They
make
love the badge.
Like,
they love the Wolves logo. They absolutely love it. And also, obviously, Jeff Shee said on his podcast that if it weren't for Fosun and doing the esports stuff, nobody knew who Wolves were, and we were just a little club that no one cared of outside of the West Midlands.
It is a big pull being in the Premier League. I think Kevin Maguire, the football finance expert, was doing a little bit of an interview, I think it was on BBC WM at the weekend, and talking about how much money essentially relegation would cost Wolves. And apparently the income at the moment is around 177 million. And he would expect that to drop by about 100 million, which would actually make them a 77 club. So there's a silver lining there for our branding. However, terrible for the club, and saying that, it's going to cost jobs, because at the end of the day, even in your comms team dealing with requests from journalists who want to see Man United and Chelsea, Liverpool, whoever else, that completely drops off a cliff when it's Charlton and Sheffield Wednesday, and understandably so. So it is a big implication for, a city that isn't the richest in the world, and it's horrible to see it happen, Jack, isn't it? It almost seems like we've sort of come to terms with it. We were talking last week of like, does anybody really think that we're actually going to survive this? And it was an overwhelming no.
I mean, the writing's on the wall for me. We've got 2 points going into December. I mean, again, the word pathetic just keeps coming into my head because it is. It's embarrassing, and all the bloody Fortnite or FIFA or whatever games the kids are playing these days isn't going to change that, because ultimately the people who are actually the ones who've been investing in this club for years, their whole lives potentially, the ones who actually put the proper money in and supported us to, at some points even keep the club going when it was really dark, they don't care about this. They don't care about this. Some of the kids might, but they'll probably grow out of it, let's be honest, and then just be a new generation of kids who are interested in it. Meanwhile, people still want to go to the football for their whole lives, really. It's a lifelong contract that we have with Wolves, but you're just going to piss everybody off. So,
don't worry though, Jack, because apparently Jeff Shee and Fosun have finally admitted that they made a bit of a mistake in the recruitment in the window. It's nice of them to admit that now, isn't it? Especially after Jeff saying it was a really good window.
Which window?
But, exactly. It could be any of the last fucking 3 summers, couldn't it? But yeah, it's neglect, isn't it? It feels like, anyway.
It's the thing that really winds me up as well is, like, you can have a bad window. It happens to probably every club, doesn't it? It doesn't matter who you are. The problem for me has been the downward trajectory. We've seen this coming for many years, and they haven't changed what they've done. Every time, it's just we've been getting progressively worse. We've been losing our players, selling our best players, replacing them with people who aren't as good, not in enough time for them to embed them into the squad to even give us a chance. And the next season, we somehow survived. We survived under Lopetegui. We survived under Vitor, when we probably shouldn't have, really, considering the positions we were in. And rather than think, we probably can't get away with this for the 3rd time, they've just done exactly the same thing and expected a different result. And this time, we've got caught out. And that's all on them. Like,
do you know Guedes, right? I think Guedes would walk into this starting 11 now, and he couldn't get in, could he, last season? I think that says it all. Because I got a bit of stick on when I did a thing on my video, and I said I think we miss, obviously, Cunha, Sarabia, Semedo, who else have I missed out? Aït-Nouri. And then I said, we even miss Guedes. And someone come at me in the comments like, did I hear him say Guedes? I'm like, yeah, he fucking walks into this team and completely starts as one of those number 10s, which is mad. That just proves how far we've fallen.
I'd bite your hand off for Sarabia right now. But again, we said this at the end of last season, and we've said it multiple times. Really, really important to how we play are those 2 wing backs. And Semedo and Aït-Nouri, I don't think we realised how much, particularly Semedo, because he went sort of under the radar because it wasn't for big money. He just had enough and didn't want a contract. But how much he's probably been carrying some of those defenders because with what the work he's been doing, I think it's gone very under the radar. We've lost both of them and we've just not replaced them. And that's really critical to the way that we defend and attack.
Well, 100%. I couldn't agree more with that. And, you know, the one thing that we've got to look forward to now, though, Harry, is West Midlands derby, where thankfully form goes out the window, apparently. So that's some good news for us. We obviously beat them last time out. It was at Molineux, though, losing 3-1 in the return fixture around about, I think, September last year. What does Rob Edwards do now? I suppose his job really is, I mean, the bulk of it is going to be lifting the players between now and Sunday, isn't it? And that's where I suppose he's going to earn his keep rather than doing anything particularly brilliant during a match. It's about man management, I suppose, at this time.
Yeah. I think our only hope is what you've just said at the beginning there, Sam. It's a derby. We've got to hope all form flies out the window. Like, that's our only hope. It's like we've got to hope it's like a weird game where we fluke a 1-0 because they're flying. Their home record, Villa, is unbelievable. So we need a miracle. We really do. And I can't see it happening unless some of our players pull their finger out.
We need a miracle, Jack. Is it Jesus Vallejo in January? Maybe. But what do you reckon to this? Do you think he'll stick with the same team? Do you think it'll be around about the 5 at the back? And I think Manetzi needs to be dropped.
The one that immediately springs to mind is Manetzi, yeah. But the problem is I don't know what the answer is because I don't think the answer is Wang. I don't think it's Arias. So what do you do? Like that's the thing I'm really, really struggling with. Could you put Craigie in midfield and try and be a bit more creative in something like that? But it's just square pegs, round holes, isn't it? I just don't know where it's coming from.
Fair Lopez,
the really frustrating thing. Fair Lopez, but he's a bit of a forgotten man, isn't it? Because he's not even been getting anywhere near the team or the squad on some occasions. So the things that I liked it. I said when he played in those League Cup games, I was like, I like this guy. He actually wants the ball, and that's exactly what we're missing. Is someone who actually wants the ball and doesn't want to be scared of turning or scared of running. So that's exactly. But I don't know if how high up he's going to be on Rob Edwards' list, really. And again, we're putting all our hopes on a bloody kid. It's just such a shambles. But for me, I'd maybe think about the wing backs as well. I thought Muller Wolf did okay. Chachua, question marks there, isn't there? I think straight away, because I've never known somebody who is very, very quick, and the occasions where he did get past his man, his crossing was terrible, just laughable. Again, going back to me playing 5-a-side, I think I could have put some balls in better than him. They're just straight at the first defender and about 2 feet off the ground. I don't get it. You can't even get it above your 6 feet strikers' heads. So what's the point?
Do you know what?
There's a few things to change there, but I think on the whole it will be the same again because it was a bit better. So,
Match has put Mane, Enzo, Lopez up front. I was really disappointed that Mane weren't even on the bench against Palace after coming on and doing well at Chelsea for the 20 minutes or so. I think why not give him a chance? I know Rob probably in his head was thinking, right, let's get off to a winning start, but gave Mane a chance. When Hwang's assisting the other team, let Mane play over people like Hwang and John Arias, like we've just said. So. Yeah, for me, maybe start Mane, sod it, local derby, throw him in the deep end, go for it.
Just not going to happen, though, is it? Just won't happen.
No, I can't see it. I think you can sometimes you can do more harm than good in those situations, but we've got this Category A academy, we've got the top of the range facilities and everything else that we keep being told, and we've spoken about before, is that these youngsters may be coming through, but they're not getting any minutes. And they've got to get minutes at some point. And if we're going to get relegated, we may as well play them.
You might as well.
They're playing next season, aren't they?
Well, you might as well sell off a Compton for bloody housing development, to be honest. The amount of good it does.
Morgan,
give us a few quid. So it just doesn't mean anything anymore, is it? Because even if you do develop somebody good, somebody else will come in and poach them. And we do that to other clubs as well, so we can't moan. But we're not seeing any benefit of it because as soon as any player who comes through will just immediately be replaced by a Portuguese kid who we've brought in who we think's better anyway. So,
100%. Harry, let's do a score prediction.
Do we have to?
I think you do. Yes.
Okay, 1-0 Wolves. Yeah, we're going to shit out it.
Jack.
I'm completely lying to myself, but 1-1.
Let's go.
1-1.
Who
Just
don't
why
beat
not? Why not?
Stephen says 3-0 to Villa. Neil says 5-0 to Villa. 123
Yeah.
North Street says 4-0 to Villa. Well, it's pretty conclusive. Not looking too good on that front.
Dan, what do you say? Don't say 2-1 Wolves. Don't say 2-1 Wolves. Go for something else.
Do you know what? All I've got in my head is Ruben Neves running towards the away end.
Those were the days.
2 or 3 years ago, was it? When
I don't think he'll be there.
I don't
Bruno
think he'll
Lage,
be there.
wasn't it?
Bruno Lage, yeah. And that was
He might be running. He might be running to the away end when we play Man United next time, just in celebration.
Yeah, when we play Man United at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, Max says 2-0 Villa, sadly. Well, Harry, I'm gonna have to go with Jack, I think. I might go for a draw. Maybe a 2-2 though, because we do seem to leak goals and an average of about 2 or 3 a game. So that is that. Harry, Matt Jackson. I'm sorry, Matt Jackson. Is he for real?
Oh, it's just another promotion from within from Jeff, isn't it? It's the cheap option again. I know we got Domenico Tete in, but that was Vitor Pereira's request. We've done it with Scott Sellers. Matt Hobbs was promoted from within. Since Laurie Dalrymple, actually, I think Laurie Dalrymple worked his way up from within the club as well back in the day. But yeah, it's just a cheap option. He spoke quite well in his interview. I reluctantly did watch the YouTube video they put out, but he's quite honest as well, basically saying our recruitment was shit in a nice way, which I like to hear. But it's just same old shit until we get rid of Jeff Shee. It don't matter who is sporting director, because ultimately all the final decisions lie with him, and he's been making mistake after mistake with his decisions. So yeah, just boring. I don't care that it's Matt Jackson, the sporting director. Nothing is going to change.
Matt Jackson says Wolves players will be working to define their futures following his appointment as the club's new technical director. The 54-year-old who joined Wolves in 2021 will support executive chairman Jeff Shee alongside the club's football leadership team, which is Matt Wild, Phil Hayward and Max Fitzgerald. He had spells at the likes of Everton, Norwich and Wigan as a player and held senior positions at Wigan and Grasshoppers. So, Jack,
Can he still play? He can play in the number 10 for any couple of players.
I mean, to be fair, Rob Edwards might get a game in defence, in fairness, if his knees hold up, which they probably won't. But, Jack, do you think this is the kind of appointment that is going to save our season when January comes around? Is he going to have his little black book out and looking at players to target for the next month?
Deck chairs on the Titanic springs to mind. What was that first bit you said about Wolves players' futures? Like in that quote?
So the quote was... Wolves players will be working to define their futures. I mean,
I can define it for them. Gomez will go to Man United. Strand Larson will go to Newcastle. We'll be left with I don't know.
Jack, you joke, but that's what you know what's going on. Half our squad, half our starting 11 that started against Palace, they're already onto their agents already. Get me out of this shit show. Please be January. If not, get me out in the summer. I can't take this anymore. That's the attitude I get off this set of players. You could probably count on one hand, if you're lucky, of the ones that actually care. The rest just want out. John Arias can't believe what he's done with his life. He can't believe
he was completely missold whatever dream we gave him, wasn't it? But yeah, we'll be starting the championship with the likes of probably Santi Bueno and Manezzi will probably still be here. No one's going to take him.
The difficulty is, I mean, we were reading out what prospective salaries are, and to be honest, if you're Newcastle, I don't think you're looking at Strand Larson at the moment. Nothing would have filmed them with any confidence that he's worth 60 million quid, and they paid that for Wissa, and he hasn't even started a game yet.
No. We won't get 6 million quid. We won't get 6 million quid for Strand Larson now. The way he's played at the start of this season.
But still, I think a Premier League club will take him. Especially if what will happen is he'll go and have a good World Cup or something, and then straight away he'll definitely be in the shop window. But I've still got faith in Strand Larson, by the way. I've still got faith in Strand Larson.
No, it just shows how important
creativity.
No, it just shows how important having creative players was around Strand Larson. But you think back, there were spells in the Nuno era when Raul Jimenez created goals on his own.
Yeah,
he was quality. Strand Larson, even in a shit team, if he was any good, he'd still be scoring goals. And he's not. So for me, he's not as good as we thought he was. He just had a lot of creativity in Cunha, Ait Nori. Sarabia when he come off the bench helping him last season. And there was a bad spell around January where I was like, fuck me, he's shit. Then he upped it again. He did. He was really good banging the goals. But the start of this season has shown to me he is not a top class centre forward at this level. No way. He's low end Premier League at best because he ain't got the consistency, in my opinion.
I think, though, that we do ask too much of our strikers, and we've probably been blessed too much with the likes of Raul, who basically can play one man on his own up front and expect him to do everything. Strand Larsen's job should be to put the ball in the net, shouldn't it, really? I know his hold-up play should be better because he's a big lad, and that's something he's definitely not up to par with. But I do think just for years now, we've asked far too much of these players who are playing up front on their own just to do too much because we're playing a defensive formation on the whole, really, with 5 at the back. So something to think about, but doesn't change anything.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because I know we talk about what were essentially the good old days and a massive blip in terms of especially the last sort of 40 years of supporting Wolves. But you're right, Harry, because, and I saw glimpses of it when watching Raul, obviously more than I would have, and another opposition attacking striker a lot more when we played Fulham. And you could just see that the way that he works off the ball and his hold-up play is just fantastic compared to what we have at the moment. And it's just a shame that, again, it came down to patience, I suppose, coming back from the most horrendous head injury imaginable and then binning him off basically the season after he makes his comeback is just starting to look more and more unforgivable as time goes by.
Well, he hasn't been the same since he come back, has he? He's still been decent for Fulham, but the Fulham fans do moan about his overall game. I was on one of their podcasts the other week, actually. But yeah, obviously Raul in his pomp. If he wouldn't have had that head injury, he probably would have left for a top 6 club anyway, wouldn't he? Because he was flying at the time. But yeah, Strand Larsen, I think I said it the other week, for such a big bloke, he suits really being on the shoulder at times and just running in behind and trying to get a shot off. Like you say, his hold-up play, he does it sometimes, but 9 times out of 10, he gets out-muscled by a smaller person around him. But you've got to remember as well, like it's a combination of things, isn't there? The Newcastle interest, there's the Achilles injury, there's him being not happy at all. He said himself, didn't he? He couldn't get his head around the fact that we lost so many key players. He said that himself in one of his own interviews. So he's just low on confidence. He's not happy, injury, and his head's been turned. That obviously affected his performances as well. And the negativity around the place is toxic, isn't it, Molyneux? But he's got to pull his finger out, though, because he's one of our highest paid players now after his new contract. It's not good enough.
Then him and Muller-Wharf go off for Norway, smash Italy, and he scores. Strand Larsen. It's just crazy, isn't it, really? But all right.
Well, that's exactly what we want, because, I mean, our fate would be sealed then, and you'd be cheering on at the World Cup because we wanted to get as much interest and cash in for them as possible. So it's going to be a case of tearing your hair out through this season, ending in relegation, and then cheering them on because you want some money for them.
In hindsight, though, like I saw people saying that we should have sold him, but at the time, I'd have been furious if we sold him after selling Cunha, Aït-Nouri, Sarabia, and that. So he did the right thing there, Jeff. That was the only good thing Jeff Shee did in the summer, is actually hold his stance and not sell him. But then obviously we're going to lose him and João Gomes in January anyway, aren't we?
You know what would have happened, though? We'd gone to Newcastle. He'd have scored about 11 goals by now, some in the Champions League, and it would have been like, what's going on? So
well, we need those goals. We need those goals now. We've got 2 points. Probably wouldn't even have 2 points. But Harry, the João Gomes to Manchester United rumour is maybe turning into something that's a little bit more than a rumour. It started out in those smaller outlets like Team Talk. It's made it into the Express this week, I've seen. Do you think is he true?
The one outlet that posted it where it made me think, oh shit, it's going to happen, is an outlet in Brazil called Globo, and they were in the summer, they were on the ball with the Brazilian news all the time. Once they started posting it, it like pretty much happened. So around the John Arias stuff was a big one. They were one of the first to post about that. But yeah, I think he'll go. I think his agents have probably already been talking with the Manchester United representatives. That's why all this news is out there. It'll be the agents feeding it out to everyone. And 50 million euros in it, 44 million. And I would usually be annoyed, but I'm thinking to myself, good luck, João. You don't deserve to be in a relegation scrap. Like, I won't have any hate towards him if he goes in January, especially if we're like 15 points off 17th or whatever we'll be. I think I've said I'll be even more gutted if Ruben Neves goes to Man United, to be honest. It'd absolutely kill me to see him in a Man United shirt. But I think we're going to see, if we're over 12 points off it come January 1st, we'll see him go. We might even see the likes of Andre go. I think we'll see Jose Sarr go. I think it'll be a bit of a shake-up. Unless we're in touching distance, then I think they will wait till the summer to sell João Gomez. I mean, we probably would have sold him in the summer coming up, even if we were comfortable this season, because we've had him for a few years, and he's one of those big players that we need to sell to keep the self-sustained, sell-to-buy model going. So it's a shame, but my attitude is good luck, João. I'm just so disillusioned with the club, I don't care anymore.
There's another element to this, and we have to remember that basically we have no English players, so they're not really that asked about Wolves. To be honest, they've not grown up watching them or anything. There's no local connection. So many of these players, particularly with the way we've been so badly performing, are going to have their eye on that World Cup and their World Cup spot. And straight away, they're thinking, if I'm playing for the team that's bottom of the Premier League and we're doing terribly, and you're already a player who's at risk of your place, the likes of people who are in and out the squads, like Gomez has been, like Andre's been, Arias, whoever, all these players, they're going to start looking over their shoulder and thinking, like, this is an absolute shambles. I need to go and get 3-4 months of good football under my belt to make sure I'm in consideration for that squad. And I can't blame them for that, really, like, because that's much more important than Wolves' survival, in my opinion, to them. He's playing in a World Cup for their country. So it's a difficult situation, but I kind of come down to the same thing, really. I think we're not playing to the level that we should be, not playing to the level that was promised when we signed a lot of these players, like the whole we should be pushing for Europe quote and all that absolute nonsense. These players, they're worried, and they're worried on the pitch, they're worried off the pitch, they're worried thinking about their summer. And I can't blame them. You can't just say, "Oh, we have to keep our best player," because let's be honest. By the time we get to January, we're going to be down. Like, we're not even going to be in contention. It's just going to be damage limitation. So I can't really. Gomez has been one of our best players in recent years, so I can't really hold it against him.
Going off subject slightly, people have been talking about in the comments. Fabio Silva's having a nightmare, isn't he, at Dortmund, and apparently he's trying to force his way out. So that's another good transfer. We got some good money for him, and it turns out he is shit after all, struggling there. So there's a bit of money cooped in for him. He's struggling.
I can't believe we got 25 million for him.
Yeah.
Might have been euros, but still, my God. That's probably the best piece of
He gets some game time now.
Yeah, he'd be starting every time now. And Kalajic. Get Kalajic back, he'd be starting.
I still don't know why we got rid of him. I really don't.
And Tommy Doyle. Get him back.
Do you think he'll come back in January, do you think?
But I remember in the summer, I'm about 90% sure on this, Liam Keane, who allegedly has got sources, apparently we cannot recall him in January. Or Boubacar Traore. He's not even in the in the deal. So I could be wrong on that. But we'll see. But apparently we can't recall him, which I'd love to. Get ready for next season, the Championship, bed him in.
Almost looking at, he's the kind of player that you'd almost look to build a team around potentially in the Championship, just because of his outlet is so good and he's so good on the turn. I just don't know why we got rid of him. It just makes absolutely zero sense to me. We're such a physical team. We're such a physical team now because of Vitor's signings, but we can't cross a ball and we can't fucking hold it up either. So I don't know what profile of player they were looking at, but it just hasn't worked. We need
a Tommy Doyle now to sit in front of Andre and João Gomez and like thread the through balls through to the wing backs and pick out a pass and dink it up. He'd be opening doors, wouldn't he? Like, he's actually decent at that. He weren't the most physical, that's why Vitor didn't like him, but on the ball he was brilliant. Just on goalkeepers as well, we're linked with that is it Mandas from the Greek goalkeeper from Lazio. He's out of fiddle. We went for him in the summer, but Sarr ended up staying, didn't he? And Johnston. So I don't think he's going to want to come, though, is he? A Lazio goalkeeper.
What's that going to do? Like,
I know, but we're really heavily linked again. I don't get it.
We're missing creativity on the wings and, in the sort of just beyond the strikers. And we're thinking, well, another goalkeeper, that would really solve our problems. Like, so we could pay him 80 grand a week to pick the ball out the net. Like, we could do that. Just get one of us to do it.
The priority, even if we're nowhere near it, the priority positions are the number 10s, aren't they? Like creative.
Yeah.
That's what we need. But we need them now, never mind January. So be interesting, because I would actually like to see Rob, because we're down anyway. I'd actually like to see him try and go with a bit more of an attacking formation instead of the 5. But our squad is so, like, we literally prepared for a back 5, didn't we? So we've got loads of centre backs, wing backs. So we're short in midfield, so we've got to play a 5 really with the squad we've got. I know Vitor switched it up, but I'd love to see him just change it up and just try and give the fans a bit of entertainment, because watching us contain a team for 45 minutes, it'd be 0-0, and then inevitably lose 2 or 3 anyway, like we did against Chelsea, like we did against Palace last time out. It's going to be boring to watch all season, isn't it?
I hope Rob Edwards isn't listening to this, because
I know, sorry,
keeps
Rob.
going back to why is he even taking this job? Everything.
You know what,
every
though?
time
I don't blame him.
It's just
I don't blame Rob Edwards. You know what I mean? Like, you can't blame him at all.
I know.
Like,
I don't blame him.
yeah.
I think he needs his head checking.
No, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I just like when you actually think everything through and the situation we're in. I just don't. It's like a lose-lose. Like, surely have a go. We probably want you as manager when we went down next year, and you can. But maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe he can pull it out, because it was a bit better. It was a bit better. Let's give him a bit of time. Let's see.
Do you know what? When we were all sat in that square in Barcelona, if someone would have tapped me on the shoulder like a genie and said, "Mate, in 5 years, you're going to be rock bottom of the Premier League on 2 points. Rob Edwards is going to be your manager, and you're just going to be depressed and moaning on podcasts every week." I'd have turned around and go, "Mate, fuck off. We're in the Europa League every year now, mate. Get away from me."
You'd have probably said there's more chance of a global pandemic happening.
Yeah.
And that happened as well.
You'd have probably pissed on the genie's shoes, mate, in all honesty, to stay to you in Barcelona.
You were saving it for yours. I think. To be fair, if someone had tapped you on the shoulder, you'd have just woken up on my shoulder, because that's what had happened anyway. Oh, good old times. Good old times. Oh, okay. Well, look, best of luck if you're heading to Villa Park on Sunday. Boo, hate Sunday games. We'll say goodbye to Harry Manson.
I don't, Sam, because we'll have a whole weekend before it gets ruined. But yes, goodbye.
That's a good point. That is a good point. A hi-ho silver lining there, and it's a goodbye from Jack.
Bye, everybody. Keep the faith. Actually,
despite everything he's just said. And it is a goodbye from me. Goodbye.